Welcome to Dr. Bunmi Abel TV, where we'd inspire and inform you endlessly, with knowledge to guide, uplift and grow. Thank you for joining, it's a journey, let's go. To all the new subscribers, welcome aboard. We're so glad you're here, there's so much in store. Returning friends, thank you once again. Together we'll learn and share the game. From wisdom to insight, each video's a gift, helping you rise, giving your spirit a lift. So hit that subscribe, stay tuned to see all the great things on Dr. Bunmi Abel TV. To all the new subscribers, welcome aboard. We're so glad you're here, there's so much in store. Returning friends, thank you once again. Together we'll learn and share the game. To all the new subscribers, welcome aboard. We're so glad you're here, there's so much in store. Returning friends, thank you once again. Together we'll learn and share the game. Dr. Bunmi Abel TV here for you. Inspire, educate, inform. That's what we do. Thanks for being part of this growing family. Let's keep shining together in unity.
Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I think there's a problem with the network today. I'm so sorry if you haven't been hearing and you're connected. Thank you to those waiting behind the scene. Not sure what's happening with the network today, but we will start. Hey, thank you very much for joining in. Today it's about inside social services. What happens when a report is made? And of course, to this evening, everyone, you're welcome to tonight's live interview titled Understanding Social Services, What Parents Need to Know. I know when you hear the word social services, people begin to jitter and like, what where are they, because we know the kind of job they do and that is their role. So I'm so glad that you could join us for this important and timely conversation. As parents, especially those of us navigating life in the diaspora, it's very crucial to understand how social service workers, or what their role is, how the cultural parenting practices are viewed in the system like the UK and in the Western world. So tonight we're joined by a few social workers and parents who have gone through it, or who have experience of what they are talking about, who will help us unpack the facts, clear up the myths and even answer questions in real time. So get your notebooks if you want, invite someone, tell someone to tell someone, and let us do this together. So this is your opportunity to type in a question in the chat. I'm still waiting for our guests to join in. Um, if they don't, because of network issues, I'm not sure what, but if they don't, it's fine. We will carry on with what we have. So today we have some recorded, I would say, answers to the questions, because being Saturday, not everyone is available. So, and because social workers are very, very busy people, I've got a recording from someone, Dr. Dirichi Andrew, who is a pediatrician, and I've also got some answered questions from Mrs. Patame Bamideliola. So we will start off with what we talked about the last time. So if you go on the internet, on my page, the channel, Dr. Bunmi Abel TV, you will see this one that was talked about yesterday. This is questions and answers packed together in one video, 20-minute video. It was a case of someone who just arrived in the UK. Well, when I say just arrived, meaning children, 4 children taken away from them, and people said giving different advices, and because not one person knows it all, so we had different advices, different answers and suggestions on how to help them, and I've compiled that in this video. So go and watch out for this video. It's already online, it's live. Go and watch that video. If you have someone who is in that situation that needs help, they will get the answers. And so today is about social services. What exactly do they do? When a report is made, what happens and how can people navigate around it? So, and or help them get their job done on time. So today I will invite on the screen a recording from someone who is going to tell us actually who she is. So this is Dr. Dirichi, and she's going to tell us in her own words, recorded, what she knows about it, because they deal with children all the time. They've got referrals. She knows what she's talking about. So please, it's time for us to listen to her. And I will bring up online now her what she has said. So let's listen. Let's listen together.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak today on this program. I do not take it for granted. My name is Oderichi Andrew, and I am a pediatric doctor. I have over 10 years experience in pediatrics and working with children from various backgrounds. So today I've been asked to respond to this question: what social workers do when they get a referral before a child is removed from their home. Right. So I'm going to try and break this question down to make it clear to all of us. First of all, I'll be speaking about quickly on what actually do social workers do, what is their role, and then I will then answer in stages what the social workers do when they get a referral for a child. So who are the social workers? We all know that social workers work in the health and social care department, and they play a very important role in safeguarding vulnerable people. So we've got the children's social workers and we've got the adult social workers. So basically, social workers play a role in safeguarding or taking care of vulnerable people. So today we'll be focusing on what happens to children when they're involved with social workers. So social workers, they tend to receive referrals for safeguarding concern regarding a child. And when they receive this referral, they investigate the referral, they investigate these concerns, they check the risk, and then they support the child and the family. They also implement measures to protect the child and to support their family as well. So basically, the social workers are our friend. They are there to work in the best interest of the child and their family. So, what happens if a social worker gets a referral for a child? So, first of all, if they get this referral can be from either an anonymous individual, or the referral can be from the school, or you know the referral can be from anywhere really. So anyone can make this referral. So the social worker receives this referral. First of all, they need to assess the situation. They need to investigate, and they just have to gather information about what they have been told. So how do they gather this information? They will go out and speak to the child. So they speak to the child, they interrogate the child alone and ask the child questions about what have been said about them, about the child. For instance, if the child has come with a bruise, they go out and they assess the situation. They ask the child, what happened to them, what caused the bruise, and who did that, who caused the bruise on them. They also speak to the family of the child and ask questions around the child and around the home situation. Um, they visit the child's house and they visit the child's school. All these is in order to gather information. Remember, they are assessing the situation and they are making, investigations. Sometimes the social workers also consult other agencies. For instance, in some cases, they may want to involve the police to assess with them as well. They may want to involve the police as well to do some, criminal background checks. So the social workers work with a lot of other professionals and agencies such as the police. They work with the teachers, the school, and they can also work with doctors. Now, after investigating and assessing the situation, the social workers would then do a risk assessment. And one of the meetings they hold to do this assessment is known as the strategy meeting. So, usually, after they've gotten all the information, they then have a meeting. And in this meeting, they will look at all the information that they've gathered. And note this, they will be discussing and asking themselves this question: is this child at risk of significant harm? So the whole aim of the meeting for the risk assessment is to determine whether the child in question or the children in question are at risk of a significant harm. So their meeting would end up and conclude whether the child is at risk of harm, both short-term and long-term harm. And then they then determine the actions to take to protect the child. Now, for instance, if the child is at risk of significant harm based on all the information they've gathered and the meeting, the child protection inquiry is triggered. And in this child protection inquiry, inquiry, there is a mandate to protect the child. And part of the things that they're going to be doing to protect the child often involves getting the child to be reviewed by a healthcare professional. So then the child is then referred to doctors like me to have an assessment to see whether um, the what the child has been through. For instance, if it was a bruise or the child was involved in an accident, or the child is being neglected, or the child has had a sexual assault, to see whether what that child, was involved in was as a result of someone inflicting it on them, or if the harm that the child has come to was as a result of the circumstance and the situation of where the child is. So then, after all that is done, remember, the social workers are there to protect the child, to safeguard the child. The next thing that they will be doing would be to take action to protect the child. And if the child has been determined to be at risk of significant harm, then there will be need to sort of remove the child from the environment where the child is, to put the child in a place of safety. Before the social workers do this, they usually do a lot of assessments. They do thorough assessments, and oftentimes they look for other ways, to protect the child. If you see what I mean, they look for other ways to protect the child. For instance, are there family members who can support the child, who can keep this child? Is there an environment that the child can be taken to, such as a family member's place, where the child will be safe in the meantime? So they continuously review the child's need wherever they have put the child, to see that the child's need is being met. The social workers also support the family. They provide trainings for the family. They could provide, family support workers. They do different things in order to sort of support and rehabilitate the family so that they can, be able to care for the child. This all depends on the decision that has been made during their meetings. This is a very sensitive and important topic. I can't finish this topic in a couple of hours. I've only just summarized this topic, and I hope that I've answered the question properly. If you have any question for me, please reach out to the host of this meeting, and I will find a way to answer your questions. Thank you.
All right, we have just heard from Dr. Dirichi, and that is her there. Thank you very much. Thank you for the recording. We're very, very grateful for the time you've given to us. So we're back, and we've heard it all. We've heard the whole thing from A to Z with, so many jumps, because just 10-20 minutes is not even enough to say one part of it. Now we're going to be digging into each question we have for our viewers. I'm not sure if Mrs. McCarthy is here yet, but okay. As soon as we get them, we'll bring them on. But I will show you the profile of the person we've just been speaking to, and that is Dr. Dirichi Andrew. She's a pediatrician, and she just told us what happens when a case is being referred to social services. So it's not all gloom and doom. And as much as possible, we want to avoid it. But if you find yourself or find someone in that situation, the emergency thing to do is just to keep them at peace, at rest, that it will be sorted. So, like she said, social services, they've got a duty of care to take care of that child under their care. So thank you very much. Mrs. McCarthy, are you here? If not, we will carry on. Oh, okay. I've got another. You're welcome. Oh, you are welcome. Okay, let's see who is behind the scene again. All right. Welcome here. I know the internet has been playing up, but hey, we will carry on. We've got limited time. Thank you very much for coming. And our first question here, let me bring up the first question is, why is spanking or physical discipline considered abuse in the UK, even when it's seen as love or correction in other cultures? So you're welcome here, Mrs. Oluremi. I don't know if you want to answer that question, or should I just carry on and you will answer when you're ready? The question is, why is spanking or physical discipline considered abuse in the UK when it's seen as love or correction in other cultures? Okay, I cannot hear you. I think your mic is mute. I cannot hear you. All right. No, I can't hear you yet. Let me see. I hope it's not like you. Yeah, I can't hear you yet. But in try to see if you can get on whilst we are waiting for your volume to come on. I will just read the answer by Mrs. Pat Ame Bamideliola. And she's given her answer here. I will read what she has here. And she says, um, in the UK, the legal and child welfare system focuses heavily on children's rights, safety, and emotional well being. So, while some cultures view spanking as a form of discipline done in love, UK law prioritizes non violent parenting. Physical discipline, even light smacking, can be seen as harmful, especially if it causes injury or distress. And it's rooted in the belief that children deserve the same protection from harm as adults. The approach here is to encourage healthy communication and guidance rather than physical correction. So that is answer by PAB. Thank you very much for answering that question. Are you with us now? Let me see if I can hear you. Okay. I still can no. I can see your mouth moving, but we can't hear you still. Um, Okay, we will carry on. We will carry on. And you can type in the chat and I will read your answer if that is convenient, if that is more convenient for you. We'll go on to the second question. And that is, what are the most common mistakes immigrant parents make that can lead to child protection involvement? What are those common mistakes? Mrs. McCarthy, are you here? If not, we will carry on. So, for those who are behind the scene on YouTube Live, please type your comments, type your answers, type anything on there, and let us know you are listening. All right. So, what are those common mistakes parents, immigrant parents or parents um, who are just new in the UK system? What are those mistakes they make that can lead to child protection involvement? I'll go on to Mrs. Ame's answer again, and her answer is that many immigrant parents may unknowingly apply disciplinary methods that are legal or accepted in their home countries, but are not permitted in the UK. And she goes on further to say these include smacking, shouting harshly, or leaving children unsupervised. When they say neglect is a crime. So leaving them stranded or unsupervised. Another common issue is a lack of understanding of what constitutes neglect or emotional harm. Let me bring up. Okay. So yeah. She further goes on to say another common issue is a lack of understanding of what constitutes neglect or emotional harm. Some parents might also avoid engaging with school or or social services out of fear or mistrust, which can be misinterpreted as non-cooperation. Awareness and open communication with local services can help prevent misunderstanding. So when some parents are invited to meetings, they they prefer to ignore those meetings, and this on the part of school is not a good sign. So when parents avoid engaging with the school or the social services out of fear or mistrust, you're actually digging a hole for yourself. You're shooting yourself in the foot by doing that. So the advice here is avoid all the spanking, all the smacking, all the shouting, all the unsupervised attention that children need, and you won't be in the wrong book. And thank you very much. Can we hear you now, Mr. Oluremi? No, not yet. Okay, but thank you. Your presence here is enough. Is enough for me. You can just type if you have the time opportunity to type in the chat, and I'll read your answer. And the next question, number 3 question, where, well, because we are not many today and people are in different places doing different things, we are actually gonna be finishing on time. Oh, even with that, we are 25 minutes gone into it anyway. Now, number 3, if a parent is reported, what steps do social services take before removing a child from the home? What are the steps? I know Dr. Oderichi, Andrew has actually said it all, but I would like to hear from a social worker as well. That is a version of the doctor. Now, a social worker is giving us an answer here, and she says the same, Mrs. Pat Ame Bamidiliola. She says, removal is always a last resort. So when they remove a child, that's the last resort. They would have gone through all the investigations, all the warnings, all the whatever. So removal is always, always a last resort. When a concern is reported, social services first assess the situation through a process called a safeguarding assessment. They'll visit the home, talk to the child, parents, and sometimes teachers or doctors. If they find issues, they often offer support to help the family before taking any legal action. Only if the child is in immediate danger, physically or emotionally, will they consider removing them, and even then, it goes through the courts with strong evidence. So it's not, the first thing is not just to remove the child. Things would have been going on, investigations before they remove that child. And if they see that even when it's reported, they are at risk of losing that child, they take a very quick action if there is an immediate danger. All right. So that is about that question of, if a parent is reported, what steps do social services take before removing a child from the home? So they don't just bump into people's houses and start removing children from homes. It goes through a process. Also, number 4, is there any, let me see if there's any comments. All right, no comments yet from people watching. All right, it says, what support systems or resources are available to help parents adjust to UK parenting laws and expectations? Yes, I know it's just like bringing, you know, being through, bringing a fish out of water when parents get into this kind of environment and everything looks strange, like, oh, what? So there's a bit of destabilization if they haven't done their own individual research. But the question is, what support systems or resources are available to help parents adjust to UK parenting laws and expectations? So I'll say, before that person gets in, personally, I would say, make your own research. Speak with people who have been there before you. There's no harm. You learn from those who are here before you, and you'll be fine. But let me read the answer of one of the social service worker. She says, there are many resources available, including parenting classes offered by local councils, free workshops on positive discipline, and support groups for immigration families. Charities like Barnardos, NSPCC, and local family centers also provide culturally sensitive guidance. Schools, health visitors, and community groups can be great points of contact. Yes, schools, health service visitors, and community groups. You have different community groups in your community. They can be of a great point of contact. Assessing these early can really help parents feel more confident and informed. True, true, true. That is why we do part of the community. What we're doing here is to give back to the community by creating awareness, asking people who are professionals in their job to come and speak to people about it, and then watching the video. And when you watch, you don't just keep it under your bed or keep it in your archive. You send it around. Tell someone to tell someone. That is what we like to do. We tell someone to tell someone. So, can we hear you now still, Mrs. Oluremi? If not, we will carry on. No. Oh, what a shame. I would have loved to hear you though. You can type, just type something. You can type in the private chat and I'll read it out if you have something to say. Okay, I will go straight on to yes, I will go straight on to the last question. If you viewers, if you're watching and you have a question, please write in the chat. Last question is, how can parents discipline their children in a way that is both effective and acceptable under the UK law? Well, I will say I have done a video on this, several videos, and you can see them. I will even put one on the screen. The one I brought up yesterday, spanked and taken, parents losing kids, jakba, jakbada, and all of that. You can go on the video and watch and send to people who are in that situation so that they can get help. So, how can parents discipline their children in a way? I actually gave 10 points in that video. So, go and watch it. But I will read what our social worker has said about that. How can parents discipline their children in a way that is both effective and acceptable under the UK law? So she says, discipline is in the UK focuses on setting boundaries, using positive reinforcement, and applying consistent consequences like timeouts or loss of privileges. It's more about teaching than punishing. In the video of yesterday, I said discipline looks into the future, looks about guiding the child, while punishment is about going to the past. Oh, you did this yesterday, you did it an hour ago, and you want to give them consequences for that. So punishment is about consequences, while discipline, I'm talking from what I said yesterday now, while discipline is about the future. So we want to focus more on how to help them not to make that mistake again, rather than always punishing for what they have done. All right, so let me carry on with what she says. She says it's more about teaching than punishing, talking to children, explaining why certain behaviors are not acceptable, and rewarding good behavior all go a long way. Parents can still be firm without being physical, and many resources are available to help them learn these techniques. So, as a parent, if you're still struggling with how to parent your child, there's so many. I can recommend one to you. It's called the Intentional Parenting Academy. You can search with Wendy Ologe. She's good at what she does. She's got a team. She's got an academy where it's full on. You don't have to be a problem to be a part of it. Even before, as a spinster, as a bachelor, you can join in that academy so that you start learning things you need to know before you start giving birth to these children. So those who are still have young children who have not even started a family yet are at an advantage. You can go on there. Just search. I will type it. Wendy, just search her name and it will order on Instagram or on Instagram, on Facebook, or even on the website. Google, just type that name and you get more resources. So that is a way to parent your child if you are struggling, because like we say, like many people say, parenting hasn't got a manual, but Wendy Ologe will tell you parenting has got a manual, and that parenting is not about it's not about your child, it's about you. So how to parent your child. All right, this is the end of our talk. Thank you very, very, very much for joining in today. Really appreciate you coming over. Thank you, Mrs. Oluremi. Your presence alone is 100% supportive. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I'm sorry to those who were here, like Mrs. Bola McCarthy. She's behind the scene. I wish I could show you her screen, but for some reason it's not coming up on the screen. And she's one of those who would want to answer questions. But hey, we got to the end at last. Thank you very much. So I will say, I'm so glad you could join us for this important and timely conversation. And as parents, especially those of us navigating life in diaspora, we all we want to do is to give children the best. So remember, knowledge is power. Sharing it is love. So please like, share, subscribe. If you haven't already, keep the conversation going in your community. Until next time, I will ask you to stay informed, stay empowered, stay connected. And is it next week? Yes, we have another guest who will be coming up on the show to give us a talk. This talk, which is by next week, Friday, is called Navigating Teenage Challenges, Substance Use, Sexuality, and Healthy Decision Making. So please tune in on Friday and let us all learn together. This is all about what we have for you today. Thank you very much for joining. You can rewatch this, and on the same link, rewatch, send to people, let them comment. So we need you to comment, like, share, and let us know what you think about social services. What do you understand by social services? What parents need to know? Thank you, and watch the video on Spanked and Taken. Watch the video again, send to somebody, and have a good day. Thank you very much, Mrs. Olurem, for joining us. Thank you. Have a good evening. Bye.
Have you subscribed and liked? Welcome to Dr. Bunmi Abel TV, where we inspire and inform you endlessly, with knowledge to guide, uplift, and grow. Thank you for joining, it's a journey, let's go. To all the new subscribers, welcome aboard. We're so glad you're here, there's so much in store. Returning friends, thank you once again. Together we'll learn and share the game. From wisdom to insight, each video's a gift, helping you rise, giving your spirit a lift. So hit that subscribe, stay tuned to see all the great things on Dr. Bunmi Abel TV. To all the new subscribers, welcome aboard. We're so glad you're here, there's so much in store. Returning friends, thank you once again. Together we'll learn and share the game. To all the new subscribers, welcome aboard. We're so glad you're here, there's so much in store. Returning friends, thank you once again. Together we'll learn and share the game.